Welcome to UCOLA. This is our second video for the 2026 legislative update that we've been going through. I'm Jerry Thompson. I am the Chief Building Official for West Valley City, and I'm also the Chair for UCOLA.
Mike Owens, Park City Fire District Fire Marshal, and I'm the Fire Marshals Association of Utah's representative on the UCOLA.
I'm Eric Miller, and I'm with Farmington City, Building Official.
It's good to have you here today. Well, jumping right in, our first topic that we're going to talk about is House Bill 40, which has to deal with the licensing of alarm companies. This is mostly for those that are taking in permits and everything and knowing that that licensing is now effective. The requirements have now moved into a new section, Chapter 58-55 and 91 of the state code with there. But it's primarily, this is information for the permit techs and the fire marshals fire officials as they're overviewing this. So not much there.
Not a whole lot. Some of the big changes we can expect to see, and even those aren't big changes, is just more along the lines of what to expect on the plans. So the alarm companies, they're going to be listing their license numbers. And that's really the biggest change that we're going to see out of this. The alarm companies will have to deal with some changes. And one other thing to be aware of from this particular bill is there have been a lot of changes of location. So of particular rules, which means if you're very well versed on being able to cite where your code is coming from, numbers are changing.
Numbers change, yep. Be aware of that. House Bill 45. This is the big moment for the fire officials.
2024.
Adoption of that fire code.
Yep, the 2024 fire code and building codes were adopted this year with through the state legislature, and for the most part, we kept the state amendments the same. So as far as the state amendments goes, there's not a lot of changes in there. We did get rid of some that just didn't really apply to us anymore because of changing conditions or changing codes. But the 2024 fire code itself, it made some changes dealing a lot with tents and cooking in tents. So that came out of our COVID experiences. We realized we needed some standardized rules there. We also saw some changes with EV charging, and not just EV charging, but also any type of lithium ion or lithium metal batteries. So a lot of the rules that we're just kind of trying to figure out as we go have been solidified. Now, if you have lithium ion or lithium metal batteries, you are going to have sprinkler systems. You're going to have fire alarm systems, and you're not allowed to do it in some places.
And it gives additional provisions for you to help mediate some of those as well.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
Yeah, this is a good one. There's probably more changes to come on that, but this is really an excellent start. One other thing that's very important is we're seeing changes to where carbon monoxide detectors are going to be required. So in the past, carbon monoxide detectors were only required in areas where people sleep. Now, recognizing that carbon dioxide is odorless, tasteless, invisible, even in commercial buildings where there are fuel-fired appliances, you'll start seeing carbon monoxide detectors.
That'd be good.
It will be good.
Yeah. House Bill 41. This one has been a little bit controversial, but it adopts the 2024 International Wildland Urban Interface Code, and it's the word I love to say, WUI. It's a WUI, yeah. There are some amendments to this. Obviously, in the state of Utah, it removes the fire sprinkler requirements there. It delays the assessment risk properties and there's an appeals process that's been created as well. This goes into effect January 1st of 2027. Mm-hmm. It also affects a bill that was done last session in the 2025, where things that would have been in effect coming up this summer are now moved off to 2027 as well. So the taxation rules and assessments and all those have been pushed back a little bit further. One of the key parts in this is the WUI and the adoption of it, and there are two maps. One map is done by the state that kind of gives an overall hierarchy of where everything is, and it also sets the level of assessments that will be done by counties and local jurisdictions in support of the state. The second map is done by the jurisdiction, whether it be the county or by the municipality itself. Those maps are primarily for enforcement purposes for the WUI code. And that's the ones that we want to focus on, is that we get those maps right. One key category in that is that the WUI is only allowed to be assessed or implemented on a zone 5 or higher by the state law, by this bill. That basically, so if you have a zone 4 that you feel is at a high risk or something through there, there is an appeals process that you can go through, but you cannot arbitrarily just go in and say,
Redraw your line.
I want to redraw the line. So you'll do it. There are many jurisdictions that are looking at it also as, that 5 line. The 5 line is not set in stone. You can actually do your jurisdiction's line higher, but you cannot go lower. And like I said, there's an appeals process if you want to go lower, or if you feel that an area on the state map has been misidentified or is not effective in its current configuration and stuff. So there's an appeals process that is being done through the state wildland forestry services, I believe, with that. But for the most part, this map here is, this is the WUI. We're now moving into the 2024. So we'll be able to have enforcement levels that go with that. And of course, like I said, there's a few amendments.
There are. So the map that you're talking about, the smooth structure exposure score, as you said, anything from 5 or higher can be in the WUI. That's left to the municipality or to the county to determine their own map.
And that map, by the way, I'll put a link to that in our comments.
Perfect. It's on the Utah Wildfire Assessment, the URAP, on their URAP portal. One thing that you mentioned was with the update to the 2024 code, there are some other changes. I mean, we're going from the 2006 Utah Wildland Urban Interface Code to the 2024.
Big change.
It is a huge change, and one of the nicest things in there is, rather than just saying in the 2006 version it says you have to do this, the 2024 version gives you standards that you use to accomplish this. So it sets a baseline, or not even the baseline, it sets a rule that says this is how we're going to accomplish this. And so there's much more clarity for the developers and the contractors as they're trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Probably a little easier to navigate as we go through and implement these. Now, anything that is done in a WUI zone that's created now, those existing structures do not need to change.
Correct. This is not a retroactive rule where you have to make some changes. It will be up to the county and the cities to decide how they're going to enforce this on existing structures. But for the most part, this deals more with the development of new.
From there, and probably any exterior changes to a structure or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one thing I want to make note on the map as well, when you go to the contrast and you change that, make sure you change the bar to the center so you can see all the colors in the map. If you don't leave it on the high side of the contrast, you won't see everything you need to see. So
exactly.
It's a great program. This is actually one I like. This one makes some good sense. It standardizes everything.
Makes it easier for the developer as well with the provisions that are given.
Yep.
And stuff, so they're not guessing.
Okay, the next bill we want to talk about is House Bill 215. This is landscaping restrictions. Basically, this bill restricts a municipality or a county from prohibiting removal of any vegetation on the property located in a wildland urban interface area to comply with defensible space requirements. And this bill will go into effect on May 6th. But it only affects the WUI zones and is restricted to only the defensible area of the property.
So if I have a property and I have a defensible zone of say 10 feet, but I want to remove 15 feet of brush, but the zoning ordinances say I have to have that landscaping there.
You don't have to do that.
I still have to allow that landscaping to stay, but I can remove it for the 10 feet of the defensible space.
Yes, sure.
And that varies based upon what WUI zone is and what requirements are there.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
With that, a kind of a neat change in this one is it's not just acting on municipalities and counties, it's also acting on HOAs. So where HOAs have had a great deal of power in the past to say this is what we want our neighborhood to look like, an HOA can no longer prevent a homeowner from removing that fuel in their defensive areas.
And I think that's the perfect word for this. It's not just vegetation, it's fuel for a fire.
Yep.
So we're looking at preventing more damage that goes in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, House Bill 240, carbon dioxide amendments. This is a new program set up by the state of Utah. The Fire Marshals Association of Utah went to the legislature and said we've identified a problem, and that is anytime you see these large carbon dioxide containers, you usually see them anywhere where they're serving drinks. It presents this new danger. And right now, it's kind of the Wild West out there. Anyone can work on it that wants to work on it. You don't have to have any particular license or any particular training. With this bill, with House Bill 240, it now requires a license and certification program. So any individual who wants to install the system, any individual who wants to work on, repair, or maintain the system, they need to have the certification go through a testing process. That testing process is not set up through DOPL. That is a program that's overseen by the Fire Prevention Board and then acted on through the State Fire Marshal's Office. We will be seeing some rules coming out on that here, coming up from the Fire Prevention Board over the next couple months. This is a good one. It's going to increase safety. Carbon dioxide is what we call an asphyxiant, which means you could walk into an area with it, down in lower areas into basements, and you'll just go down really quick, not even knowing what hit you. This is a big safety issue. So we're happy that this one got passed. We really thank everyone for their efforts on this.
I think it's interesting. I actually heard of an accident that happened in relationship to this just literally a month or so after the bill was passed. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, it's going into effect on May 6th, so we can hopefully alleviate some of that more in the future.
It is. The bill goes into effect May 6th. The State Fire Prevention Board still has to vote on adopting the rules, and they have to go through the regular rulemaking process. But the bill has allowances for that in there. Yes.
Provisions there. Well, fantastic. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. Eric,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And that concludes this session.